What's going on? How y'all doing today? The video gonna be about typical racist Donald Trump. He wants to protect. Not only doesn't want white privilege being discussed corporately, but he also is against 1619 being taught in schools about Black history, about slavery. He does everything in his power to whitewash. That's what he's there for. That's what a lot of these people in this country do: is whitewash everything. Whitewash, act like it didn't exist, didn't happen. This is the same idiot who thought Frederick Douglass was still alive a couple years ago. Remember that? And you know, he is trying to play to the last vessel of America that he can. Now, they always telling me that white people be the minority in 40, 50 years and all that. But the laws are the laws, and that ain't gonna change. But he's trying to play into that whole dynamic in a modern context. When you have more interracial couples, when you have more mixture of people getting together, when you have people who've been outraged by the systematic institutionalized racism, the oppression and the racistness of the police, and you've had many different ethnic groups that participated in peaceful protests, etc., etc., and you're watching this unfold in the middle of a pandemic. Going to school, being shown roots was painful, but it happened. But you don't get taught nothing in these public schools unless you go to a black school. Or for me, it was having a KRS-One, a Rakim Chuck D, or Gil Scott Heron was telling me about me in school. Well, that's back in the day. Because without what hip-hop was, or something along those lines, or you take Stevie Wonder's Black Man song off his Songs That Kill Life, you didn't have a lot. You weren't getting it in school. You get a token Dr. King, a token Rosa Parks, token Frederick Douglass, and maybe Harriet Tubman if you're lucky. But you had a handful of people you could count on. You weren't taught about you. You were told to feel cry for Anne Franks and the Holocaust and everything what Jewish people went through, but you weren't told about the greatest crime in this country is slavery. You weren't taught that your tongue was cut out. You weren't taught that your language was lost, that your bloodline was lost, and that if you do go to Africa today, you can go, but who is your family? And who is your family in America? And you got relatives on both sides of the Atlantic and in between. But ain't nobody to trace. You got to do Ancestry.com to trace. It'll depend on Alex Haley before that. But it's not taught in school, but it should have been. But you see, somebody like Trump knows that they don't want it. And the sickness and the virus that's the real plague, the mask can't cover, and there's no vaccine for racism, but it's institutionalized and systematic, and it's being allowed to infest. That's how you have racist police, racist CIA, racist FBI, racist school institutions, penitentiaries, anything that's an institution, churches too. If you're not talking about it and you're promoting an agenda, you in with it. That's what's up. So, that's how I feel about it. Now, let's look at this thing about white privilege on work. So they all tie in together. He ties anything that evolves opening up the conversation and dialogue about race because he doesn't want to touch it. He's got to push his white agenda, his white crowd, his white pro. If he doesn't do that, he knows that's his base. You know, wouldn't it be? And he knows that he should easily get his behind whipped in this election if it ain't rigged or fixed. There's no way he should even think about being near any poll. When you consider the pandemic, the deaths, obviously the racism from the police and the killings that's going on every day, the economic, the political, all that. But if you don't teach a child, no matter what their racialist background, about the contributions of the people around them in the classroom, you pass on this agenda that they're your servants. See, it's a very dangerous, manipulative game that America has played for far too long. And why has it been that way? Because it's been profitable to keep the lie going. But it takes people to question the teachers and the system. And when you have evil facing you, and evil wants to stick to the agenda and stick to the script that has been allowed to be considered the standard, this is what you get. And it's enough of this racist bullying. All right, that's my thoughts and takes about racist Donald Trump blocking 1619 entrance of Africans to America, and also white privilege corporate jobs. But give me your thoughts and takes. What you think? Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell rings. New video. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. And he is what he is. And we know